Hey, what's up? I'm Al Cox. I play games, make games, and everything in between. And today I'm gonna recreate Color Bump 3D with Buildbox using no code. If you're new to Buildbox, be sure to like and subscribe as I make content around making and playing games with a specific focus in Buildbox. Color Bump 3D came out last year and it's got over 2 million downloads. Now, when the game first came out, it was innovative in terms of gameplay, style, able to get everyone's attention. Let's recreate a similar style game right now from scratch. I'm gonna do create new, and we're just gonna create an empty game template, delete the 2D world, add a 3D world, go in here, delete the Buildbox logo. First thing we wanna do is add some assets. Cube, sphere, and a plane just to get started. This is the start, and I'm gonna add a scene. As the start scene is where we will want to begin, but the scene 1 is where things will grow. So we got the start and the end. I'm gonna have the start scene start at 0, 0, and then at the end 25. And I'm gonna change the size of the plane to go all the way down to the end. So we'll scale it to like a 13. And I'm gonna change the background colors because I find working in a 3D environment with a color setting that you enjoy just makes it a lot easier to go in, make stuff. So I'm gonna add a blue background, and I like to make things contrast in color, so I'm gonna make this plane a kind of pink so that we can have the blue and pink contrast colors in this particular game. Now I'm gonna take the sphere, hit D to duplicate, and then rename this one character and move it up here because this will be our character. Grab the character and move it into the start scene right here at 0, 0. I like my characters to be small. The smaller the character, the more space they have to move around. I'm gonna go into the character, I'm gonna add some movement. Now we want a touch move, and then we're gonna also have a regular move. Now before I get carried away, Buildbox crashes a lot, so it's important to just save consistently and throughout the game development process. Let's go ahead and save as. First thing I want to do is add a trail, so let me go to asset library. Here we have a bunch of different objects. I believe the deep fly asset has a trail, so I'm going to select that one and then go into here, grab this trail, copy it, Command C, go to the character and Command V, and now have a trail. We want the touch move to be on the X axis and the Z axis. So it looks like here we have X axis and Z axis, so this is good. Follow rotation, I'm not sure, let's take a look. And we have the trail, so look, we got movement. It's great. Kind of moves kind of fast, so I'm going to move the sensitivity down to 1 apiece. Command save, always important to save. Next, we're going to want to constrict the movement of the character because we don't want them to be able to move off of the plane. So here we use the position limiter. And looking at the X and Y axis, this I believe is -2 and this is +2. We're going to want the position limiter to be somewhere between maybe 1.5 on the X axis and -1.5. Z axis can be none. Z axis is forward and backwards, and then the Y axis is up and down. So let's check that out. Connect the node. Here you can see it cannot go left any further and cannot go right any further. I think instead of 1.5, we should have 1.75 would be a little bit better. And look at that. Also, I'm gonna make the trail a little bit smaller. Looks like the width is set to 60. I'm gonna go ahead and make that 20. Let's see how that looks. A little bit better, you know what, maybe 30. Yeah, here you see you can't go left anymore and can't go right anymore. Now that the character is moving the way we like it, we're gonna want to move the camera. To do that, we go under the character object and check out camera position animation. Grab that, connect the node. We're gonna want the camera to just move forward. Also, the character does not have any physics. We want the character to have kinematic physics. Kinematics allows for you to control the character to move in whatever direction you want it to while giving that object physics properties. Whereas in dynamics is the object just moves according to the world and the physics that it is in, and not necessarily you are able to control it. So we got the position limiter. We're gonna set Y to just hit delete, set Y to none and Y to none, and then Z moving forward is set to none, and then the position limiter is Z2, which allows it so that the ball cannot move below the screen. Next, we are adjusting the camera position animation. So we're gonna set the Z to -25, which is the length of the plane. Remove is delta. Delta means change, and since we are just moving from position A to position B, we're going to want to uncheck this checkbox. And we can do it over a course of 20 seconds. Let's save it and see how it looks. So here we can see the camera is moving up, and we are moving with the character complete. So I'm gonna maybe move that to 15 seconds. You can go to the camera settings, position follow game path. Oh, no, that's not good. After checking this out in the preview, I'm gonna change the camera view to something that I like a little bit better. So do something like this, move it up at a downward angle so that we can kind of see the horizon. Yeah, like that, something like this, something like that. Let's take a look. Okay, position X, that's 6, 3. Great, moving along, looking good. Now we're gonna wanna also add our finish line. I'm gonna take this cube, rename it, call it finish line. Go in here and delete the 3D model. Here all we have is an empty box. We'll set this collision box so that if the character touches it, then the game will recognize that it's game over. So this is an empty collision box, but once the character goes through it, then that'll set off the game over. We can go into character, add action, if collide with finish line, add an event observer with the delay node, if collide, and then menu jump. That'll take us to the UI menu to jump us to the next level. And something like that we can create right now. Let's go ahead and do it. Here we can see this is the event observer. Add a UI screen. This will be the game UI. We will want a level complete and a game over. So let's go into the game UI, add a event observer, which is right here. And what this will do is keep a lookout for game over. If there's a game over, then we can link it to the game over right here. UI, link the UIs, and in the game over, we want to have a navigation button. This is set to restart. Let's get some text out here as well, and it can say game over. Set it in the middle. Go to the font, pick a font I like. Here we go, game over. And then we can also do something pretty similar for level complete as well. Add a navigation button. Here the navigation button is set to default. Grab a label, and we put level complete. And then we can attach the event UI to the level complete. Let's go to that event observer and write down level complete. Great. With the screen moving forward, we're gonna want the ball to also automatically move forward. If you're not moving the character, then the character can get left behind, and that is no good. So we're gonna add a -1.5 Z movement to the ball. We need to feel it out. We need to see if this works. So it looks like right now it's maybe a little bit too fast, so we can try -0.75. Also, it's kind of difficult without any objects, so let's go ahead and start throwing objects into the game. We have a sphere and a cube. I'm gonna hit D to copy both of these and label one enemy cube with the collision group of enemy and enemy sphere. And within these enemy items, I'm going to add a random color so that all the enemies have random colors and all the friendly objects will be white. I like changing the incandescence to 0.65, intensity to 1. Do that for both enemies. Save it, always remember to save. Buildbox just crashes randomly. There's no reason or rhyme to it. And let's get started. Let's add some enemy cubes and some non-enemy cubes. First things first is we want to make sure everything has physics. And in this type of game, we're going to set all the physics to dynamic. Okay, sphere, physics, dynamic, cube, physics, dynamic. Affected assets will, in this scenario, we're gonna set it to all, but depending on your game type, you may want to set the affected physics to a specific object. This can help in terms of memory and processing power. Of course, depends on the type of game you're making. Okay, so now these objects for me are just like way too big. Let's try to put these both on the same z-axis, -4, y of. So now I'm just putting the position of these cubes where I think would be best. Copy this one. This will be the enemy cube, and then this will be the friendly cube. And you can figure out where you want to put it on the plane by looking at the X, Y, and Z coordinates at the top right. Okay, and save. See, before I forget, the plane must have physics, and we can set that to static, and let's take a look. Okay, here we go. Color is bad. Oh. So the camera movement is really fast. It's almost a little too fast. So let's go and adjust that accordingly. Change this duration to 20. I just want to grab everything and then just move it a little bit closer to the start. Maybe something like this. So as long as we don't, and if we touch a color, we do not die. So let's go ahead and add that to the game. Character, if collide with enemy, delay, game over. And we got a crash. Hopefully everything was saved. I'm gonna connect the level complete back to the game itself so that you can replay the level over and over again. And let's see what happens. Let's try it again. Okay, we need to add physics to the plane. Static, good. Save, go back and redo everything. Next we want if the character touches the enemy cube to game over. Collision shape, affected asset, enemy, time delay, and game over. Let's go ahead and save it and test it. Okay, cool. I touched the colored cube and I got a game over, but now I want a debris explosion with my character. So in order to have that, let's go here and then I'm gonna select this sphere, hit D for duplicate and type in debris sphere. And then select debris sphere, scale the size to 0.2 to make it smaller. Go to the main character. If collide with enemy, add the node debris explosion. Go into the node, select it, and select debris sphere with all of those properties. Now I only want maybe 15 balls. I don't want 50. The debris sphere, I would like when it appears in the game to have a random color. Let's go ahead and select the random color node when it's created, random color. Control S, save. Cool. Maybe make the debris a little bit smaller so we can scale it to 0.05 to 1. And this just changes the sizes of the sphere. Perfect. Also, these cubes are kind of a little bit boring, so let me just select all of them, increase the height, and that is a little bit cooler. A little bit better. I prefer this. Linear camera animation moves everything in a straightforward fashion. Easing functions have the ability to manipulate how the camera moves. Let's take a look at out elastic easing. So this one goes super fast, as you just saw, and kind of bounces around. Whereas an out cube does something like this. It's a slower introduction, a slower movement that then speeds up. We don't want anything complicated, we just want linear. And that's just where it moves automatically forward. I'm gonna set the move to maybe a -1.5. I think that's a better, yeah, that looks great. Next, we wanna have something to indicate the finish line over here. And I'm gonna make this cube finish. I have 2 of these, cube finish 2. Let's grab these 2 items. So I'm just gonna copy and paste and make a wall for a finish line. Cool, looks good. Now let's go in and make sure that these have physics. Physics set to dynamic. So once the character goes through this wall, then attach this finish line object, and that will set them to the next level. So let's go like this, oops. Oh, okay. And I died. Or is that level complete? Okay, let's check out the finish line node. That didn't seem to work. I'm not sure why. Okay, so finish line create. Oh, the finish line didn't have any physics. So let's go ahead and set it to static. And now we should be good. I'm gonna save it just in case. And level complete. Okay, that was looking weird. So let me take a look. What did I miss? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's strange. Maybe if we set it to dynamic, maybe that'll be... Oh, you know what? Finish cube 1, dynamic. Finish cube 2, also dynamic. So both of these are set to dynamic, and yet for some strange reason, they're floating in the air up here. Let me see what I can find out. So again, Buildbox has a lot of weird things sometimes. As you can see, we got a good foundation for a game similar to Color Bump 3D. That is how you make Color Bump 3D from scratch in Buildbox. Now I've been using Buildbox 3 for the last 6 months, almost every day, so it does take time to learn the ins and outs of the nodes and the node code system built within Buildbox. But once you familiarize yourself with it, use it on a day-to-day basis, it becomes relatively easy to build out your game, upload it to the App Store, play it on your phone, put ads on it, and you just build up your game developer tool belt. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know. I will see you next time. Peace.